Today, I'm going to have a very special young lady that will be sharing with us her story. We listened to her husband, the last segment, where he told us about their journey, his journey, struggling and working through and actually surviving sexual addiction. Without further ado, I'm going to ask Petronilla to introduce herself.
I am Petronilla Kalondu Kisui, or Mrs. Minor, a wife and a mother. I am an interior designer.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and just the journey through being raised and then coming into marriage and how that has been for you.
I come from a family of 3, that is my mother, my brother and I, meaning that I was raised by a single mother. But with this life that you have to provide for your children, my mom was forced to take us to the village where we were brought up by our grandparents, and she was in Nairobi, akitutafutia. My grandparents were tough, but again, lazima wakudekeze. So growing up in a family of no mother, no father, I mean, I always used to say that I want to bring up my own family with a husband, a father to my children present. Yeah, so that was always my dream. Being in a family of grandma and grandpa, there were uncles, cousins, men. So they used to molest me. And I was even raped in the process. I was threatened not to talk about it. But in that rape, a baby was hired.
Oh.
Yes, but ndio wafunikia aibu, and having been raped by a cousin who the father is rich. In our homes, kama unadowe ndio kusema. So he could threaten me, ukisema ujue nitaambia babangu mtafukuzwa home. I became so conservative that I was even afraid. Nikisema tufukuzwe, and then it's not like my mom was so rich, she had money that hata tukifukuza ningesema whatever.
How old?
12 years.
And him?
He was 19. And after that, ni aibu, wataki aibu kwa boma. I carried the pregnancy to around 7-8 months. And nikatoto kadogo, it was tiny. And I was forced to have an abortion. Like,
at that?
Yes. I underwent labor. Like, I was confused because I could not understand the pain and all that. So then that is when I said, I need to bring my kids in a family way. Mother, father present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow, that was quite a traumatic experience.
It was.
Yeah. What did you become after that? How did it change Petronilla?
I became tough because I saw clearly hakuna mtu ananipigania. So I decided now I need to fight for me. I need to stand for me. Nilimature, I had to grow up. Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now, did your mother know?
She knew, but she did not have a say. She was shocked, embarrassed, and at the same time she did not know what to do.
Okay.
Because she might say something, toka na watoto wako, and again amezaa watoi, ameleta home, and I'm here now, I want to kuharibu jina ya member of the family.
Tell us about now becoming a young adult or becoming a teenager, young adult, relationships, and then going into marriage.
I came to Nairobi, became a house help. When I turned 18, my mom passed away. So, and I have a younger brother. So I said, sitawahi olewa until my brother finishes school. I became a mom, literally, at 18. Because my brother came to Nairobi now. He was schooling in Nairobi. So it's me to provide for food, shelter, clothing, and everything.
So you became an adult just like
Mapema,
that.
yes.
Yeah. Tell us about how now you met Martin and how that progressed.
It was like 2 years after the previous relationship. That is when I met him.
So what was it about him?
I saw him on television, his music, and after some days I saw him, he's just an immediate neighbor, and I was like, aya, kumbe handsome men can get saved. Because I thought world ni ya watu wa handi, watu wanajua life and all that. That attracted me to him. Yeah, and of course I did not expect someone to sing gospel and you're not saved, so nikajijazia. So after getting his merchandise CD and a t-shirt, he was following up on that money. So that's how he got my number. We got to chatting and all that, and now here we are.
Yeah. Fast forward, you guys get married.
Yes.
And then boom,
Hell broke loose.
yes.
Yeah, we got married almost a year into marriage. Was around 8 months pregnant. I bumped into a conversation with a lady, with a lady. Then the lady had guts really, and I was pregnant, all emotions are there and all that. The lady called him, he did not want to pick. I picked the call. Then the lady goes like, kwani bibi yako hana adabu, why is she picking my call? And that was at night. Okay. I felt like giving birth there and then. I went to talk to the pastor, and I was crying. By the way, I am done with this thing. Stucky.
Tell us the story of how now you confronted him, or up to the point where you decided. Did you decide to leave? What happened once you found out that this was what was going on?
Yeah, but now it happened severally. Nikaanza kuona huyu msee amenizoea. I had a plan to even, but I had said I leave the country. I will go and never come back. But now the problem was now my daughter, because there is somewhere I was supposed to sign. Because I think I went there and said, I'm very single. I'm not married, but now we are legally married. Everything's in the system. I came back home. I talked to a friend and always enda mahali. You are legally married, not unless wache mtoi uhepe solo. I came, listened to him, and I was not convinced, because now if and ingine I'm disappointed. I cannot go anywhere. I cannot go back to my village. My relatives don't even know that this guy has been doing this to me. And again, I have a marriage to fight for. Remember what I used to say nikiwa mdogo. I did not want my mom being a single mother. I did not want this thing to look like a generational thing, that I'd pass it to my daughter. So I really told God, now you have to fight for me. You are not going to fail me this time. Let my story be different. Because I talk to people, nisikie opinion yao, that if you cheat, if you find your husband cheating, what would you do? Mimi siwezi kaa kwa hiyo nyumba. So I'm thinking, now what am I supposed to do? Because now sitaki kusema ni mimi, but I used to nichunguze. I see people's minds. They were giving me ideas and I'm getting confused. I'm thinking, hey.
So at what point did you realize that this thing was more deeper than you thought?
At some point I got confused, because unataka kutoka and again unarudi. I used to compare his addiction to my drinking, which I used to do it occasionally. And when I decided to stop, I stopped immediately. So I expected him to do that, and I'm thinking, if you say you love me, why are you sleeping around? If you say you love me, why are you saying this and doing the other? I had so many questions, and again, sina mtu wa kuenda kulilia kumwambia. I one day decided to go to the mom, his mom. Because now I'm thinking, wacha nichome kwao. They can deal with him. Other than going to my family, naeza make dent, sitawai, I'll never be able to mend. I went to the mom. They talked to me. She talked to me and called him. And mom never sides with his kids, with her kids. She will deal with the son or the daughter, and called me aside. Beli Petro, this and this, you'd have done it this way. So we walked the journey with Mom, praying, also talked to Pastor Milton, and that is when he referred us to a professional marriage counselor who is you now. Yes.
Yeah. Along all this, you had decided you're not leaving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, natoka niende. At the back of my mind, I do not want to be a single mother.
Yeah.
And again, I don't trust men in terms of, I was once raped. Now I do not want to take this daughter of mine to another man who is not because I was still young.
Yeah.
He's not a biological father to her. Yeah, so I was not only fighting for me, but also for my daughter.
Tell the people who are watching, there must have been something you saw in Martin that gave you hope, that I can fight for this marriage.
Yeah, I saw the desire to change and the love of God. Because even in the midst of all that, he'd always, every day, find time to have his time with God. And again, I believe you cannot, the same way you said on is sitting with him, you cannot lie to yourself and to God. And I could overhear him pray when he used to have his own time alone praying. And him telling God how much he wants to get out of this, how much embarrassing it is to him, how he regrets it. So I could think, if he can say about it alone, and I know he did not know that I used to hear him pray, then this is a good man to stick with. Yes.
So you saw that heart.
I saw the urge and to stop all this. Yeah.
But of course you were still wondering why the behavior continued.
Yes.
Yeah. How did it feel when you found out he was into pornography? In addition to now the ladies.
Pornography I found out later, but I did not pay more attention into it, because I was thinking, if he's not doing this, then he's doing this. At some point I thought, ameachana na madem sasa, ni pornography, at least he's making progress. But I did not know. Ni stingo anatafuta. Yeah.
Now at this point, having gone through that process with Martin, and do you believe that he was in an addiction situation?
Yes. Yes, I do.
How does that then change the way that you see him and the way you saw his struggle?
That made me, or rather makes me now build on trust, because it got to a point, if he touches me, I could feel as if it's a cockroach walking on my body. I used to feel disgusted, but now I changed my mind and I started seeing things differently. Also looking at myself and saying, maybe there are things I do that does not please him. But if the measures that I'm taking against him would have been taken by him against me, this is someone I love, he loves me back. Can I at least focus on the good things that is done to me and leave the rest to God? Because I remember when we were doing premarital counseling, the motto was, work on yourself, pray for your partner. Why don't I change the strategy now and start praying for him and stop looking at what he's doing, right or wrong? It is him and is God. Yes.
When I'm working with women who are in a situation like you, I normally take them through a process of emotional disentanglement. So where we are saying, this is not about you. He's not doing this to you. He is choosing to do things that have to do with his own addictions. Do you remember any time that you were able to begin now the emotional disentangling from he's doing this to me, taking it personal?
Yeah, I remember that time I'd said, I will never have intercourse with him. And I used to, and words have power. I used to tell him, siku moja nita disconnect. And I know I can disconnect emotionally. That's what I used to tell him. Then anambia, see, watch your words. And when we are seated now, I'm calm. Maybe after some days he'll tell me, this is not about you. It is not about, I'm thinking, it is not about me how. It's me who is here. It's me. It's hitting on me. And I did not understand then that it was eating on him more than me. He wanted to come out of it more than I wanted him to stop all this, because I thought it was all about me. Am I not beautiful enough? Am I not doing what I'm supposed to do as a wife? I used to have so much questions.
At what point did you now, the bitterness begin to go away and you started now looking at him in a different way?
When I understood that it's an addiction. It is not something he does willingly or to attack me or to get back at me. Yes.
Oh, so that's when now the personalizing of his behavior, you stopped and it started. So what did you develop? Compassion for him, or?
One, it worked for my good. It is a bad thing, but it worked for my good, because I used to be a very bitter person.
Yeah.
I hold a grudge against you, it's for real. That even if I find people beating you up, I do not know you, I will go and go. And I was afraid this will... Remember, this is someone I'm living with, sleeping with on the same bed, and there are these cases of murder and all that, and you never know. So I was afraid of that. But it taught me to be patient with people. Because it really took patience. And it also taught me to stop looking on what people are doing wrong, because I used to be very judgmental after everything that happened when I was growing up. Yes.
Okay, so the process actually caused you to grow, to be more tender, and less of those other things. The self-preservation that you had developed over time, you begin to pull down those walls.
Yeah, I can't say that anger has gone completely, but the percentage at which it was then, it is not what, it is a working in progress.
Absolutely. And you know, anger is normal. It's the way that we express it that is either destructive or constructive. So what would you like to tell women who may be watching you and they are in the situation where they are really wondering, should I stay, should I leave? They are confused about their marriage.
I wouldn't tell someone to leave or stay, because you might not have a compassionate heart like mine, or you might not have principles as I have, or rather you might have a violent person, or there are things you cannot just stand. Or again, you might have someone who is like Martin used to be, that it's an addiction they are dealing with. Try to seek for wisdom and guidance from God, and pray for your marriage and partner.
Would you encourage them to seek psychological counseling?
It is very important. It is very important, because to me, I saw a different view after we met you. When you used to tell me, what if it is not about you? Now echoing his words. I'm thinking, Allah, maybe it's not about me. So you get to understand your partner more. You get to know what all this is all about. Definitely.
And I thank you so much for sharing your story with us, because there are a lot of people who are in that situation where there is a lot of confusion, there is grief. Of course, we talked about grief, remember? Just going through the loss, the anger, the bitterness, the depression, all of that, and the anxiety, the fear of the unknown, and even the confusion of, is this going to recur again? And so thank you so much for sharing with us, so that we can give people hope that their marriages can be saved, even after going through such a process. And so I want to thank you very much for sharing your story.
Thank you for
and I know somebody will be touched and somebody will be encouraged. Viewer, I want to thank you for staying with us and listening to the story of Petronilla, and you can definitely see what a beautiful woman she is. She has a great heart, And you have to, let me tell you, bitterness is not going to help you fight for your marriage. What you will have to do is to really allow your heart to be surrendered to the process of healing. And really, once you do that, you begin to set yourself free from this box of just mourning and groaning about what is not working out. And if you do your part, and if you work with somebody like myself, where we go through psychological counseling so that you deal with your grief issues and you begin to create hope for your marriage, and you begin to see your spouse in a different way. And if you have a man like Petronilla does, then it is possible for us to be able to save your marriage. And I will say this, that sometimes the people who are in the cheating, they may not understand what they are going through, and God can use you as the spouse who is there to be able to walk with them. So until we see you again, I am looking forward for us to be able to talk more about how now together they actually fought for their marriage. And so I invite you to tune in again as we do that. Meanwhile, subscribe. And also my phone number is over there, my other handles are over there. Reach out to me. I'll be glad to walk with you and to support you as you seek to heal your relationship. Until next time, continue to live by design. God bless you.